Hi, everybody. This is Bethesda Star, targeted shaman, Jane Celia Hatch. I channel information from my spirit guides. I'm a journalist. I was one of the few journalists in Maine that covered accurately Maine nuclear plant and Bath Iron Works shipyard, which is one of the reasons I was initially targeted. But that was a long time ago. The targeting with directed energy weapons began about 5 years ago. It was during the time I was writing a screenplay about Michael Jackson. I was trying to get the truth out about him. But that's another video, which I plan to do shortly. I talk about things that you may not think is related to targeting, but we're all targets from one direction or another. If you eat, if you breathe the air, if you're on this planet, which I haven't seen many of, which is great. MSM, there's many ways that humans are targeted right now and have been for centuries. So the targeted individuals are just people who have specific group of people targeting them generally because of the information we have, and that we haven't forgotten a lot of the ancient truths. In fact, shamans have been targeted throughout the centuries, whether it was, the Trail of Tears or the Inquisition or, the Aboriginal people. So those are people that are highly targeted, are those that have esoteric information. Actually, just yesterday, I saw a video by a man who is involved in the targeting and live organ excavation of a huge spiritual group of people in China. I forget their name, but it's a form like Tai Chi or Kung Fu, and I think up to 100 million people were involved in this very self-empowering mastery of your spiritual and emotional. And the president of China felt so out of control that he sat, because these people were just becoming empowered, and it was positively affecting China. The economy was up, the sickness was down. There was all these positive ramifications, but Prince Harry is right when he said in his apparently fake call with Greta Thunberg that evil people do run the world most of the time. And this Chinese president decided that he was going to eliminate these people. And to this date, I believe there's been over 100,000 of these Chinese individuals who have this spiritual practice that were literally taken off the streets and into hospitals and had organs removed. It was live, very little anesthesia, and killed, of course, when you have your heart or your liver taken out. And, this is many groups are fighting against this, including doctors groups, because a lot of doctors have been forced into this. But this is something happening now to spiritual people on the planet. So I speak about a lot of things because many people are targeted in many different ways. So that said, the coronavirus, of course, is affecting all of the planet, most all of humanity. I don't know if anyone will be isolated. I've seen psychically a few different places that may remain without incident, but they are very far and few between. So another one of my beliefs, and what I believe I came in with, was that we all originated from a paradise Earth, a kind of utopian society where there was equality, there was abundance. And, 500,000 years ago, there was an invasion on this planet, and humans were disempowered, and they were enslaved. And I won't go into that either. That's another video. So I believe that this new coronavirus is in part going to bring us back to that. The Hopi people believe we are leaving the third era of humankind and going into the fourth, where it is not going to be man dominating woman or woman dominating men. It's going to be equality, and it is also called a triune society, and that means three. And it is man, woman, and child will live in equality. So a very important part of us being able to enter into this new world, which is going to be like the old paradise Earth that we all once lived in, that many of us can remember, is that there will be equality between all of us. And the children, speaking of the children, that's why so much of my work is focused on. It's one of the reasons of exposing and eliminating child sex trafficking from the planet. So nothing, and we're also entering into the age of Aquarius. We're in it, which is, as the song says, nothing will be hidden. All the revelations will be there. So the coronavirus is part of this accelerating movement into this. I think it's the fifth world, the fourth world, the fifth world. The Hopis call it, where we're going to live in equality. But first, there has to be the great purging, because the vibration of the new earth is going to be too high to accommodate any kind of pedophilia, Satanism, all the very, very negative. So there's a purging going on, a revelation. That's why you're seeing the Weinstein and the Epstein and almost all of Hollywood, being exposed for who they really are. Nothing can remain hidden. So those that have been able to remain hidden, the coronavirus is going to be part of a leveling out. And I don't necessarily see people dying, but there will be. Honestly, I do see that, but it's not about that as much as restrictions. If you can't fly, if you can't bus, if things aren't available, child sex trafficking is going to dramatically decrease. Gang stalking is probably going to decrease because of the fear of infection and because of resources. Resources are going to be held up. Maybe there won't be gift cards for them or whatever they receive. I don't know what it is. They get payments, whatever. And also, when you're exposing evil from the very top, of evil is where the gang stalkers on this level get their funding. And so, if resources dry up, if planes stop flying, if you can't go from state to state, if people start to gather in communities, that's a love vibration. That's another thing that any kind of love vibration you put out into the planet is stronger than evil. So there's going to be, because of a fact of joining together, there's going to be more of a love vibration that comes as a result of this. And this is another reason we're going to be able to move into this new earth, is because of the love vibration that's going to come out of this when people need to join together. I realize that isn't necessarily existing now. I'm seeing a little bit of it. In Santa Fe in particular, I saw some posts about people, making an effort to feed school children who normally don't eat very much unless they go to school, helping elders. I am seeing that in Santa Fe, but recently at Trader Joe's, people were very pleasant, but there was so much fear. There was so much fear. And usually I love going to Trader Joe's, just sampling cheese, whatever. That wasn't the case yesterday. It was very hectic and fearful, and I went home and I had to cleanse and smudge and, to kind of erase that. But that's, of course, going to be the initial response, is everybody is going to be fearful because the world has changed. It has changed permanently. And this is really important, a few days before we were hit with the reality of this, I went outside. And I didn't necessarily know it was coming, but I knew something was coming. And to me, it was good. I went outside, and I think I said this in another video. I felt this love coming up from Mother Earth. And now I'm thinking maybe it is her relief, that everything has sort of come to a standstill. And I felt like the spirit guides are with us so abundantly now, and the veil is thinner. You can go to your angel, your spirit guides, your power animals, the ascended masters, and ask for help right now and ask for protection, and they are readily available. So I knew there was a pouring of love onto humanity by the ancestors and the spirit guides just recently. And I felt very excited about something. And then, of course, I have gone on to my own, having to make a few preparations. And but overall, the coronavirus is part of what's ushering us into fourth world or fifth world, where we will live in the triune society of equality between man, woman, and children. And the children piece is what, I've been working on, and a lot of other people, as far as exposing child sex trafficking. We cannot go into this new world ignoring the children and ignoring what is happening to them around the world. I just heard a reporter today say that, we have been highly focused on Madeleine McCann. And while that was happening, one child went missing in the UK every 5 minutes. I don't know what the FBI statistics are now. In America, it was like 500,000. And most all of this, or many of this, is involved in the pedophiles, child sex trafficking. It's along the same lines as organ trafficking and drug trafficking. It is happening in our borders. It is part of the elite agenda, from the invader species. And again, that's another whole topic, and I will do a video on that, but it's just too much to include right now. So the coronavirus is part of ushering in a new vibration on the planet. And I don't necessarily mean because of deaths of bad people. I mean, I do see there's a very strange phenomena going on of celebrities announcing they have coronavirus, which is just bizarre to me. I don't, politicians and Hollywood actors like Tom Hanks and many others that, have been on the Epstein flight log list, the people that were associated with him. That particular world is crumbling, and they're all interwoven. And a lot of those people, were probably channeling the money that went to, some of these foundations that were involved in targeting and human experimentation that we've experienced. Many of us have targets. So as they crumble, so does evil underneath them. On the web of life, the shamanic world that I see, it's all interconnected. So when you see evil going down, like Epstein and Weinstein, and some of the, there's a lot of people stepping down. I think, the Apple guy, whatever his name is, has stepped down, Apple Computer. And, Disney, all these executives seem to be stepping down. So where they're going, I do not know, but there's a major shift happening on the highest levels of evil. And that's all going to be reflected eventually in our lives, because most of us are presenting love and light and truth. And energetically, that is the opposite of what, satanic pedophiles and anybody on that very high level, whether it's, in any one of the government departments, any love that's put out into the world is a threat to them. So we're the one, that's why we're targeted for the most part, because we hold some kind of truth in a vibration of love. And another thing about targets is they're incorruptible for the most part. You cannot corrupt us, which makes us very much of a threat to evil. So I believe in my heart it's going to shift. I encourage everyone to continue to write letters, because that works on the densest level, but we're working on a very high vibration now where things are going to happen a lot quicker. When money rules this corrupt organization. And so when money starts to dry up, when borders are shut down, when planes don't fly, and you can't move children, you can't move drugs, you can't, and I'm really excited right now that there's some very strong boundaries putting up. And I know it's supposedly about coronavirus, but it's going to stop a lot of other things too that aren't so good for America and the world in general. So I'm excited. My banner is Shaman for a Paradise Earth, and I've always lived my whole life, and I've everything I've experienced in my life indicated love did not exist. It's been kind of torturous, but I always knew in my heart there was a beautiful world, and it's I believed I came here to hold that sacred space, that it will return. And I believe the coronavirus is part of it on a larger, broader scale. I encourage you to, take health precautions, washing your hands frequently. Again, using your intuition. This is a really important time to be in touch with your spirit guides, because you may want to go someplace, and if you get a really strong gut feeling, don't go. And that's going to be the guiding force now. Is not so much your intellect, but your gut instinct, which is really tied in with your spirit guides and power animals. So, first thing in the morning, call in whatever you believe in. Christ, Mother Mary, your protective guides, whatever they are, Bear. If you ever want, a healing, I can do them remotely and connect you with your spirit guides, because sometimes they do wander away. I can put my email underneath if you ever want spiritual healing in regards to returning power or returning soul. Targets certainly have had a lot of soul loss. Soul loss occurs as a result of trauma, and there's this ongoing trauma for targeted individuals and everybody else on the planet. So I am going to develop, because I'm also a certified herbalist, a wonderful, healing, as well as antiviral, antibacterial, antifungal hand wash, spray, and tincture, which will also include healing qualities. It will have definitely, the sage and thyme and rosemary and other lemon, orange, often, that are very powerful antibacterials, but they're also uplifting. They're good for your brain. They're good for your heart. They do clear the energy field around you, which is, as it enters through the air, it can be, I believe, disempowered. Again, I'm not a medical expert. I'm not making any medical claims. This is, energy healing and spiritual healing is my expertise. So I'm in an earth house underground, which is doing a fairly good job of protecting me, although not entirely, as you all know. We're dealing with extremely powerful and well-funded the dark side of the American military. So there's not much they can't do, except for now. Things are going to change. There's things beyond their control, and the money is probably going to dry up. So I am going to be putting out a video about Prince Harry and Princess Diana. I went to England and interviewed people about Princess Diana a couple of years ago. Very interesting results that I wanted to share. How, what Harry and Meghan are doing is going to affect, the future of England. I did a psychic reading, and I'm gonna include that. So surround yourself with love, and trust your instincts. Acknowledge your instincts and operate from that deep place that can't be manipulated like your mind can. Your soul can't. They can certainly implement mind control, but your spirit and your soul is a lot stronger, and your gut instincts. So I encourage everybody to really connect with your shaman center, which is basically your gut instinct. So lots of love.